Now, after a very successful United States visit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is now in Cairo, in Egypt, for a two-day state visit. Prime Minister was received with a very warm embrace from Egypt's Prime Minister when he arrived at the airport. This was followed by a ceremonial welcome and a guard of honor. The Indian community sang songs and also chanted Vande, Mataram and Modi, Modi. They also performed a dance for Prime Minister. Now, this was followed by a roundtable meeting with his Egyptian counterpart. Both the Prime Ministers spoke at length about strengthening the cooperation in trade and investment, renewable energy, green hydrogen, digital payment platforms, pharmaceuticals and also people-to-people ties. The Prime Minister also held a meeting with the members of the Bohra Muslim community and also met the Grand Mufti of Egypt. Now, this is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's first visit to Egypt and is also the first official bilateral visit of an Indian Prime Minister to Egypt since the year 1997.
Today I was honored, a lot to meet His Excellency Prime Minister Modi, and it was a very nice and interesting meeting. In fact, actually he reflects the wise leadership, and for a big country like India, our meeting today is actually our second interaction, as we have met earlier in Delhi in one of the Sufi conferences there, and also it reflects that the wise policies that are being adopted by Prime Minister Modi in bringing coexistence between the various factions, there in India. At the religious level, I must say that we have also, strong cooperation between us and India, and we are looking forward to further enhancing and deepening this cooperation in the future.
We have a lot to learn from India's private sector. Under Prime Minister Modi's leadership, the private sector in India grew tremendously in the world of infrastructure and engineering and manufacturing, and these are the sectors that we specialize in. So I had the privilege of having a one-on-one meeting with His Excellency, where he gave me a lot of invaluable insight and advice that I hope to take back to my company and start working.
Today is the second and final day of Prime Minister Modi's visit to Egypt, a visit that is expected to give impetus to the strategic partnership launched during President Sisi's visit to India in January, when he was chief guest at the Republic Day celebrations. So yesterday, the Indian Premier met with his Egyptian counterpart. We saw that Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli greeted him at the airport very warmly. He also met with several cabinet ministers in roundtable talks and with other prominent Egyptian figures, including the Grand Mufti of Egypt, who issues religious edicts. He also addressed members of the Indian community here in Egypt, made up mostly of business owners and investors who have been in Egypt for a long time. And today, the agenda of Prime Minister Modi is that he will hold talks with President Sisi, which are expected to focus on cross-border terrorism, security issues, and of course, economic and trade ties.